we're on our way to Doug Jolley's.
Oh, so fun to get out of the house after such a storm.
Oh, and especially to go look at an Sn3 railroad.
Right.
Because all Sn3 railroads are just cool.
Oh, they are. His is really cool.
Well, you can't go into Sn3 if you're not taking life really seriously. Doug used to be into HON 3 years ago, and when he changed scales and gauges like 40 years ago or whatever it was, I bought his old stuff.
Oh my goodness, wow.
and we should show it to you guys
Right.
at some point in time. But at any rate, for now, we're going to show you what he's currently doing, his huge, massive Sn3 layout. Check it out. So Doug and Tifini Jolley have been building this really, really big it's 18 by 43.
Wow.
Takes up most of the basement of their house. They've been working on it for years and years and years. Doug says it's the third division of the D&RGW. That would be the part of the Denver and Rio Grande Western that ran from Gunnison to Ridgway, Colorado.
Nice.
So very specific.
Yes.
As it's modeled in S scale, an SN3 gauge, that's a really great scale and gauge because it's really similar to HO in that it can go a lot of different places, and yet the models are really good sized.
Yes, they are.
Smaller than O scale, but not by all that much.
Mm-mm.
The level of detail is just incredible. Brass engines and scratch-built structures. It really inspires me. It makes me want to build.
Yeah, me too.
This water tank is actually something that I do want to build for our railroad, so it is really inspirational. Now this is Montrose, which is a dual gauge part of the Rio Grande, and of course it's been modeled therefore in dual gauge with 3 rails. Doug is talking about adding a standard gauge line out of here just so he can generate some standard gauge trains to go in and out of Montrose. That'd be fun. So let's just follow this train as it meets some other trains and traverses the entire line. It's got a second locomotive on at mid-train as it's a little too heavy for just one engine. These are, of course, sheep cars. You can tell because they're double-deckers. They've got 2 levels inside them, where a cattle car would just be a single level inside. And here we have 463, slow and heavy freight heading back toward Montrose. So, well, we're going to have a train meet out here somewhere.
He's done a fantastic job on his scenery. It's very easy to video.
It's mostly finished, but there are some sections under construction, a few places that are basically just open benchwork still. He's been at this for years and years and years and years and years, and most of it's totally dialed in now. Now they've chosen to do Gunnison as a hidden staging yard, so there isn't actually a Gunnison per se. There's this great hidden staging yard. But I love hidden staging yards because we all end up with more cars and trains and bits and pieces, and it's nice to be able to have a place to park a whole bunch of stuff and dispatch trains from. And they're really into super realistic operation, and this gives them a chance to dispatch all of their trains out of the hidden staging yard here. It's kind of neat because you can also see some of the construction techniques and hand-laid track and that sort of thing without the ballast. Now, they've also modeled two freelance railroads based a little bit on prototypes, and they connect with the Denver and Rio Grande. This is the Whisky Creek line, a logging railroad that got sort of repurposed along the line. Doug goes through and comes up with all sorts of justifications for exactly the history behind things and that sort of thing. The other branch line he calls the San Miguel and Southern, again on the Ridgway branch, but just a completely freelanced railroad. You might recognize this from the Cumbers and Toltec, but being freelanced, he can cheat when he wants. I love the way he's dialed in the sound system. We have the 6 distinct chuffs that you'd find on a Shay, but there's just enough rod knock and so on to make it fun and interesting. .268's a bit of a faster train than the heavier freight, so it's overtaken it. And now 463 can get back on the road. It's fun that 268's still wearing the Bumblebee paint job, they called it. If you remember, that's the one from the Chicago Rail Fair.
Exactly.
And it was still wearing that in the 1950s, which is the period they've modeled here. So there it is, still in its Chicago Bumblebee paint job. Doesn't this feel just like riding on the Cumbers Toltec?
That's what I like about a good model railroad. You feel like you're really there.
I'm this one. I totally relate to it. We've ridden this train.
Exactly.
A lot of these buildings here in Montrose are drawn from the actual buildings around Montrose. Some are freelanced, but Doug is really trying to keep it looking and feeling exactly like Montrose. And that's really cool. Because it does. It really feels like we're in Montrose. Well, 463 has finally arrived in Montrose, and that means that the crews are going to be tying up and going home for the day, and so are we.
What, not heading to McDonald's?
Well, we could go to McDonald's and grab something to eat too, but other than not having cinders in our hair, I really feel like we've been out riding on the narrow gauge.
That's for sure.
It's just the structures, everything about this railroad is just so realistic. I feel like we've been in Colorado.
Exactly.
It makes me want to go there.
Again, let's go.
Let's do it. Isn't that the most amazing railroad?
Wow. I am just awestruck.
He's been building railroads for as long as I've known him, which is a really long time.
Well, I haven't known him that long, but what I've seen is like, wow.
He perfected it a long time ago, and he's still building.
Oh,
so
thank goodness.
And we'll be back over there because we want to look at his contest models.
Absolutely.
That he did for the National NMRA Convention, which are going to get integrated into the railroad at some
Eventually,
point in time.
yes.
Yeah, for now, they're on the bench, so we'll show you those too.
Exactly.
Well, if you liked the video, do hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't been over to the channel to binge watch for a while, then you want to get over there and binge watch anything you've missed. And if you're not a subscriber, well, please subscribe. Please subscribe by clicking the blue button. Are we ready for it? That blue button with the rocket ship right there. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you on Tuesday as we do some Tuesday foolishness.
Oh boy.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.